In this video, we are going to explore MedGen, NCBI's portal to information related to human medical genetics. A way to search MedGen is with a gene symbol. For example, BRCA2. By default, MedGen is restricting our results to those recommended for clinicians. Using the gene sensor above the records, you can further narrow the results to only those that link to the BRCA2 gene record in the NCBI gene database. We will do that now. This adds the gene search field next to the BRCA2 symbol in the search box. Scrolling through the summary of the records, we can see that MedGen records are of different types and contain category labels such as finding, neoplastic process, and disease or syndrome. Let's do another typical MedGen search where we search for information about a particular condition or symptom. Let's look for chronic lung disease. Note that instead of getting a gene sensor above our search results, we encounter a suggestion to search for chronic lung diseases as a clinical feature. Let's take that suggestion. Now we get a smaller set of results, all categorized as disease or syndrome. Let's pick the one titled cystic fibrosis and explore that record. This record contains rich content. The header of the record tracks the disease with identifiers, such as the associated concept ID from the Unified Medical Language System and the related SNOMED clinical terminology. It also provides identifiers and links to the related records in several genetic resources within NLM and elsewhere. For example, the mode of inheritance for cystic fibrosis is retrieved from Orphanet. Orphanet is a resource for rare diseases and orphan drugs. There are links to 3 disease-associated genes in the NCBI gene database. Of these, the CFTR gene is the one most often associated with cystic fibrosis. CFTR is also the most studied of the 3 genes. Going down the page, we see the contents divided into several sections. MedGen gathers and integrates information otherwise scattered across many resources. The Disease Characteristics section provides an excerpt from GeneReviews. GeneReviews is a book on the NLM bookshelf. Closing the section, I am moving down the page to additional descriptions from OMIM and from MedlinePlus Genetics. The next section lists clinical features. Within that, I will display abnormality of the respiratory system. Note that chronic lung disease is on the list. Remember, we searched for chronic lung disease as a clinical feature, which is why we found this record. The next section provides term hierarchies from 3 resources. Under the first tab, we get the terms from the Genetic Testing Registry. You can see that cystic fibrosis falls under Ashkenazi Jewish disorders. Cystic fibrosis is fairly common in the Eastern European Jewish population. It is also fairly common in Caucasian populations in Europe. The next tab shows the MESH vocabulary. And the last is the Orphanet classification system that you can see following the link to go to the Orphanet ontology. The next section provides professional guidelines. Note the division between those retrieved through PubMed searches with search terms set by the MedGen team, and the second listing manually curated by the MedGen team. The remaining sections of the record provide further links to publications that fit certain search criteria. For example, I'll follow the See All link under Prognosis within recent clinical studies. It takes me to PubMed citations that discuss prognosis of cystic fibrosis. In the advanced search, you can go to your search details and see the entire search strategy. Let me go back to the MedGen record, where I will collapse the remaining sections so we can get another look at the content of the record.